Have you ever found yourself like really wrestling with an AI tool? Trying to get ChatGPT or something similar to give you exactly what you need.
Oh, absolutely. It can be so frustrating.
Right. Well, what if I told you that whole struggle might just disappear?
Yeah.
Imagine if these AI models could actually write their own prompts and get those prompts are like 10 times better than anything we could come up with.
That's exactly what we're diving into today. It's fascinating, really. The smartest AI users, looking ahead to, say, 2025, they're not really writing prompts from scratch anymore.
Okay. So what are they doing?
They've moved to something called prompt generators. And honestly, this isn't just some minor adjustment. It's genuinely changing the game and how people interact with AI.
Oh, prompt generator. Okay.
Yeah. So our mission for this deep dive is to figure out the why behind this. Why is it so revolutionary? And maybe more importantly, how can you start using this approach right now for your work, your studies, maybe even creative stuff?
And we promise by the end of this, you'll get it. You'll know exactly how this system works, why it's so effective, and crucially, the actual steps to set up your own way of doing it. It's like a massive shortcut to getting much better results from AI.
Definitely.
Okay, let's unpack this a bit.
Yeah.
Just think for a second. How much time have you spent tweaking and refining AI prompts? I know I've sunk hours into it.
Mm-hmm. We all have.
Just last week, I needed a product description. Something specific. Minimalist hiking backpacks. Waterproof ones. So naturally, I typed in, write me a product description for a backpack.
The classic starting point.
Exactly. And what came back? Oh, so generic. So bland. It could have been for anything. A school bag from the 90s, maybe?
Yeah.
Completely useless for what I actually needed.
And that is such a common experience, isn't it? It's deeply frustrating. For so long, the advice has just been, oh, just write a better prompt.
Right. Be more specific.
Exactly. But, and this is the interesting part, that advice often just falls flat. It's a bit like telling someone who doesn't code to just write better code.
Huh. Yeah, that's a good analogy.
It doesn't really help, does it? It ignores the fact that you're not an AI expert. How are you supposed to magically know the perfect sequence of words to unlock what the AI can really do?
You're so right. So there I am with this useless, generic backpack description. And then the grind starts, right? I start adding details, make it durable for outdoor people, then, okay, add a rugged tone, then, no, target millennials who care about sustainability and minimalist style.
The back and forth.
Oh, yeah. I probably spent a good 20 minutes on it, maybe 15, 20 different attempts, just to get something. Well, decent, not even great. It just drains your time, your energy.
And that iterative grind, that painful back and forth, that's precisely the problem this new approach tackles head on. Imagine just skipping all of that manual tweaking.
Okay, I'm listening.
What if, instead of you doing all hard work writing and refining prompts, you could just generate them? And not just any prompts, but prompts specifically designed to get you what you need, ideally on the first or second try.
That sounds way better.
That's the core idea that's really transforming AI interaction right now.
Okay, so how did this shift happen? What's the big idea?
Right. So here's what basically changed everything for, the really savvy AI users. Instead of asking ChatGPT, write me X, they started asking it, create the perfect prompt for me that will generate X.
I see. It's meta.
Exactly. It's a total paradigm shift.
Yeah.
You're asking the AI to craft the instructions for itself.
Okay, so back to my backpack disaster. Instead of me trying to write the description directly, the new way would be something like, create a prompt that will generate a high-converting product description for a minimalist, waterproof hiking backpack.
Yep.
Make the tone witty, use bullet points, and focus it on a Gen Z audience. Something like that.
Precisely. A prompt for a prompt.
Yeah.
It feels a bit like asking the AI to reverse engineer its own optimal instructions. And here's the really wild part. It shows you just how powerful these models are. ChatGPT might respond with something incredibly detailed, like, write a product description for a Gen Z-focused minimalist hiking backpack brand. Use humor, modern slang, and bullet points. Emphasize utility, waterproof features, sustainability, and style for urban adventurers.
Whoa. Okay, that is much better than what I came up with.
Right. It's not just a little better. It's a really well-crafted instruction. Something you or I might genuinely never think to write on our own. What's happening is ChatGPT is essentially looking at its own training, understanding what it needs to give a great answer, and then building that instruction for you. It's unlocking its own potential. It's kind of amazing to see.
Okay, I can see the appeal. The immediate benefits seem pretty obvious then.
Oh, they're huge and immediate. You get much more precise answers right off the bat. The tone you ask for, it's usually spot on. The structure, exactly as specified. Your productivity just skyrockets.
Less guesswork, less frustration.
Exactly. So much less guesswork. When we talk about higher productivity, think about what that means. For, say, a small business owner, maybe instead of spending half a day writing a few social media posts, they generate a whole week's worth in an hour, all perfectly tailored. That's a massive difference.
Yeah, absolutely.
And connecting this to the bigger picture, this whole approach, it really became like a secret weapon across loads of different fields in 2025. Marketers, coders, students, entrepreneurs.
So it's not just for writing product descriptions.
Not at all. That's the beauty of it. It's incredibly broad applicability. It's not some niche tech trick. It works for, well, literally any use case you can think of.
Like what? Give me some more examples.
Okay, sure. Think about a student, right? Struggling for hours with a cover letter for an internship. Now, they generate 5 different tailored versions in 10 minutes. Each one optimized for a specific job ad. Or a developer needing starter code for a new feature. Instead of staring at a blank screen, they generate a solid foundation instantly. Or a chef. Maybe they want unique vegan recipes. They can get prompts that lead to really innovative culinary ideas, not just the same old stuff. It's truly universal.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
But then you mentioned it gets even more interesting.
Yes. Here's where it gets really interesting. The absolute most effective prompt generators, they don't just use one AI tool.
Okay. Multiple AIs.
Exactly. They combine several AIs, and each one brings its own unique strengths to the table, refining the prompt further.
Okay. Layering AI on AI. What's the secret sauce there? How do they work together?
Great question. And yeah, that's really the heart of this multi-AI approach. Typically, the process kicks off with ChatGPT.
Okay.
It's great at taking your initial idea, which might be a bit vague, and turning it into a structured, logical prompt. Think of ChatGPT as like the architect drawing up the initial blueprint.
Right, the foundation.
Yeah.
But then you said you bring in others.
Yeah.
Like Claude.
Precisely. Then you bring in Claude. And this is where, honestly, a lot of the magic happens.
What makes Claude special for this? You mentioned humanization.
Yeah. Claude has this uncanny ability to understand nuance, emotional context, the subtleties in language. It's almost like it can read between the lines of what you really want, the human feeling behind the request.
Okay.
Other models might focus more on just facts or logic. Claude gets the feel. So it's perfect for adding that human touch. Let's say your ChatGPT prompt was for a blog post about burnout. You'd then take that prompt to Claude and ask it something like, rewrite this prompt to focus on emotional depth, vulnerability, and a reflective tone. And try to avoid cliches or overused metaphors.
I see. So you're refining the instructions again.
Exactly. And Claude might turn that initial prompt into something much more resonant, maybe like, write a first-person blog post about the quiet, creeping realization that you're burned out. Include those moments of denial, the slow dawning awareness, and maybe the very first tiny, hesitant steps you took towards recovery.
Okay, yeah, that feels different, more specific, more human.
Right. The output you get from that prompt won't just sound professional. It'll sound profoundly human, authentic, relatable.
Okay, so ChatGPT for structure, Claude for the human feel. Is there another layer? You mentioned Gemini.
Yes, the final optimization layer often involves Gemini. Think of Gemini as the super intelligent editor who comes in at the end.
How so?
Well, with its really advanced reasoning and its broad knowledge base, remember it handles images, code, all sorts. Gemini can spot things that might be missing. It anticipates what a truly comprehensive prompt needs, suggesting elements you might not have even considered.
So it's proactive.
Very proactive. It's designed to catch those crucial missing details and add them in to make the prompt maximally effective.
Okay, give me an example. Like if we had a prompt about, say, climate change affecting farmers.
Right. Gemini might look at that prompt and say, okay, this is good, but which agricultural region are we talking about? What type of farming? Is it large-scale industrial or small sustainable farms? And what's the desired tone here? Should it feel urgent, hopeful, warning? It adds that final layer of precision.
Gotcha. So that multi-AI layering, it takes a vague idea and turns it into this super specific, laser-focused request.
Exactly. Laser-focused. And the result, better outputs, much faster with fewer attempts. You're basically leveraging the unique thinking style of each AI to build an instruction set that's way more powerful than any single AI could create on its own.
Okay, This sounds incredibly powerful, but here's the question I know is probably on a lot of people's minds right now. How do you actually do this? How do you set it up and use it day to day without juggling like 3 different browser tabs and copy pasting constantly?
Yeah, that's the practical hurdle, isn't it? And that's where tools designed specifically for this come in. You mentioned Chatronix earlier. Think of tools like that as your personal command center for prompt generation.
A command center, I like that.
Yeah, it basically unifies ChatGPT, Claude, and Gemini, or whichever models it supports, into one single smooth system.
So what do these systems actually do? What are the key features?
Well, they're game changers because they automate that whole multi-step process. So key features usually include things like auto-generating maybe 3 to 5 different prompt variations from just your initial idea.
Oh, nice. So you can compare.
Exactly. Compare tone, structure, see which models approach you like best for that first step. Then you can easily save and reuse prompts that worked really well, build your own library.
That would save so much time.
Huge time saver. And some even let you A/B test different prompt approaches. See what actually gets better results for your specific needs. It takes what sounds really complex and makes it incredibly simple to execute.
So you type in your basic idea, hit a button, and it kind of orchestrates sending it to ChatGPT, then Claude, then Gemini, and gives you the final polished prompt.
Pretty much, yeah. Streamlines the whole thing.
Okay, that sounds useful. But maybe you give us something even more concrete, like your personal process. You mentioned a 3-step stack you use.
Sure, happy to share my everyday workflow. Let's walk through a quick example. Say you want to generate a prompt for a creative short story.
Okay.
Step 1, idea, set up with ChatGPT. You give ChatGPT the basics. Something like, create a prompt that generates a short story. Target audience, young adults. Tone, whimsical, maybe a bit melancholic. Key theme, lost childhood innocence.
Right, straightforward.
Step 2, human layer with Claude. Take that prompt from ChatGPT, feed it into Claude, and ask for refinement, maybe. Rewrite this prompt to feel more natural and emotionally resonant. Add a first-person voice and make sure it emphasizes internal conflict. Claude will then sharpen it, add that vulnerability.
Okay, making it deeper.
Exactly. And then step 3, precision tweak with Gemini. Take Claude's refined prompt, give it to Gemini, and ask for optimization, maybe. Suggest edits to make this prompt even more effective based on recent literary trends. Ensure the protagonist's journey is really clear. Gemini might then suggest a specific evocative setting or a clever plot device to really enhance that theme.
I see. Each step builds on the last.
Precisely. And the difference this makes is huge. Instead of starting with a generic prompt that leads to a kind of flat story, you end up with something incredibly nuanced, like write a first-person short story for young adults about rediscovering a forgotten childhood secret. Focus on the emotional conflict, the subtle moments of realization, and aim for a reflective ending. Include hesitation, internal contradiction, and raw honesty as the protagonist navigates their past.
Wow, okay, that prompt sounds like it would generate something really interesting.
That's the point. That kind of prompt generates content that actually connects. It feels alive, insightful, engaging. It's a world away from the generic stuff.
Okay, this is definitely clicking for me. But you might still be wondering, okay, is this just for the tech geeks, the AI gurus?
Yeah, is this just for the elite?
Right, is it?
Absolutely not. And that's maybe the most exciting part. This isn't some exclusive club for data scientists or prompt engineers.
So who is using this?
Honestly, a huge range of people. It's incredibly diverse because the benefits just apply everywhere. We're seeing students using it constantly for essay outlines that actually make sense, for crafting resume points that stand out, for making really effective study notes.
Okay.
Developers, getting starter code, generating test cases, writing clear documentation way faster than before. Writers, using it for blog posts, marketing materials, even first drafts of scripts that actually sound human, not robotic.
Makes sense.
And business owners, they're using it for ad copy that converts, for product descriptions that sell, for building out entire email marketing funnels. The speed and quality boost is just massive. It's really empowering people across the board who need to create things with AI.
And are there actual, like, measurable results beyond just feeling better?
Oh, yeah, definitely. People consistently report saving significant time, often around 2 to 3 hours per week, which adds up fast.
That's substantial.
It really is.
Yeah.
They're also getting much better quality results right away, on the first try usually. which means way less of that frustrating back and forth editing. And maybe the biggest thing, they just feel more confident, less overwhelmed when they sit down to use AI. They start seeing it as a real partner, not just this confusing black box.
That confidence part is huge.
It really is. And I can speak from personal experience here, too. Before I really embraced this multi-AI prompt generation system, I spent so much time just coaxing AI, trying to get something decent out of it. It felt like a chore.
I know that feeling.
Right. But since I switched, maybe about 6 months ago now, for all my own content work, my whole process is just transformed. Things that used to take me hours, literally minutes now. And the quality is consistently better than what I could achieve before. It's honestly been a game changer for me. Lets me focus on the bigger picture, the strategy, instead of getting bogged down in tedious prompting.
That's powerful. It really sounds empowering. Like you said, you don't have to be this prompt genius anymore.
Exactly. You just need to know how to use the generator system. It completely levels the playing field. Anyone can access expert-level AI results without needing to be an AI expert themselves.
Okay, so let's bring this all together. What does this really mean for you, the listener? Let's just quickly recap the main takeaways from this deep dive.
Sounds good.
First off, prompt generators are definitely taking over from traditional prompting. Why? Because they just work better and save a ton of time. Simple as that.
Undeniably more effective. Second, the best way to do it involves layering multiple AIs, using each one for its unique strength. So you've got ChatGPT to generate the base prompt.
Right, the structure.
Claude to add that essential humanization, that emotional depth.
The feed.
And Gemini for that final optimization, catching missing details and adding precision.
Structure, feel, precision. Got it. And third,
Tools are emerging, like the Chatronix example, that make this whole multi-AI process really smooth and easy. They put this power right at your fingertips, making it efficient and repeatable.
makes total sense.
So maybe this raises an important question for you to think about after this. How might your own daily work with AI change if you shifted your focus? If you spent less time trying to directly instruct the AI and more time guiding it to ask itself the right questions?
That's a great way to put it. Guiding it to ask itself the right questions.
Yeah. Just take a moment, maybe later today, and think about one specific area. Your work, your studies, a creative project. Where could you apply that principle? How might that change things for you, maybe even immediately?
That's a fantastic thought to leave everyone with. This whole journey with AI is constantly moving, isn't it? It's all about discovery.
Absolutely. Keep experimenting.
Yeah, keep creating, keep exploring. And remember, the big takeaway here is you really don't need to be an AI expert to get expert results anymore. You just need the right system.